Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of
the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast
with your host, the 2023 IBWAA Podcast Host of the Year, Jana, and her big brother, Jeff. Time for Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast. This is the 21st episode of our 5th season, 153 overall.
Wow.
I know, we just banging them out.
Yeah, every week. Almost.
Got a lot to go over today. The Dodgers, as we get ever closer to the playoffs, there's stuff happening in Dodger Town that's making people a little nervous. And then the Angels, well, are the Angels. We'll talk about them when we get there. They had probably, we're going to talk about all three of their series from last week and the beginning of this week, and which includes their series versus the White Sox, which I think had their most exciting game of between Minnesota, Houston, and then the White Sox. Find us on our social media at Sibling Rivalry BB without the A. That'd be Twitter, by the way.
And on Facebook and Instagram at Sibling Rivalry BB with the A.
And our website, siblingrivalrybb.com. So without further ado, let's head Vince Scully way.
It's time for Dodger Baseball.
The Dodgers welcomed in a couple of old friends. One, real old compared to the other guy. The other guy didn't do for them what the first guy did. And those guys were our Cubs. And they showed up at the Ravine. We're talking Michael Busch, who, we know what a fantastic and what an asset to the Dodgers he was. And I mean that in that he was on the bench quite a bit. Compared to Cody Bellinger, who we know was an MVP at one point when he was with the Dodgers, and now playing solid, but I guess not the all-star MVP potential Hall of Famer we thought he might become.
Right. But at Dodger Stadium, they both, especially in this first game, just came alive. I mean, Michael Busch was like, look at me. You got rid of me?
Yeah,
look at me now.
What did he do in his first game back to Dodger Stadium? Oh, that's right. He went 4 for 5, 3 RBIs, scored 3 home runs, had a double and a home run.
Right. Yeah, and Cody Bellinger had a home run, had 3 RBI. I mean, it was just, and I don't know if you saw the game, but if you go back and watch Michael Busch, he just has this, a lot of, I guess it's just confidence.
How you like me now.
Exactly.
And you look at what's happened with them, not so much right now because the position players, all the issues right now seem to be more isolated to pitching, but they could have really used him when everybody was out, because he could play third, he could play first.
Right.
He's playing first. He's playing first base for the Cubs.
They could have used him, but I think when he was traded to the Cubs, I thought it was a good thing for him because he's playing every day. So it's a better deal for him, but he's with the Cubs.
Another guy that had a decent series overall. And you know what? Maybe he would have never become that guy with the Dodgers.
That's true.
You never know.
That's right.
Most people have probably heard of this guy, Pete Crow Armstrong.
Okay. I have heard of him. But when they say it, because it's Pete Crow -Armstrong, it sounds like they're saying Pico Armstrong. And
Okay.
I think it was the Cubs announcers, and I was like, Pico? His name's Pico? That's not right. And it was, oh, wait, it's Pete Crow Armstrong, not Pico.
Now,
I kind of like Pico.
I think that's cool. That should be his nickname. Pico.
Pico.
He has like a connection to a baseball movie. Did you know that?
I did not.
His mom, and I don't remember her name, Crow Armstrong. She was actually there at Dodger Stadium while he was playing. And I think a brother or something, it looked like, based on the ages. His mom plays the mom of the owner of the Twins, thus the mom of the kid in Little Big League.
Okay, I remember.
He names himself manager. His grandfather's Jason Robards.
Right.
Thus, Pete Crow Armstrong's mom, Pico Armstrong, his mom was the daughter to the owner of the Twins, and then the mom to the owner of the Twins, because
I remember that. Yes.
So
interesting.
Anyway,
all right.
That's a lot of Cubs talk.
It's a lot.
In that game too, like you said, that first game out didn't look good for the Dodgers. They lose it 10-4. Mookie hits a home run, but overall they don't really do anything. Kyle Hendricks on the hill for the Cubs, but he doesn't go that long. And Walker Buehler, not a good outing. Again, 9 hits, gives up 5 runs, 2 of those home runs.
Yeah, and in this game. This was a game where Banda came in, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, and then
lost to the wall.
Lost to
or
the
to
wall,
a hard object,
to a solid object.
A solid object. That's
and
right.
so he's on the IL. Yeah. So.
All right. So hey, that's just one game, not a big deal. Dodgers are like 86-58 at that point. They still have a lead.
And I think the second game was more hyped because Yamamoto came back. And everybody, especially Dodger fans, wanted to see how is he going to pitch. And
in this game, we have 4 big Japanese names. All right. So the biggest of them all, Seiya Suzuki, who, if you remember, wears number 27. And when he came in and they asked him why he wore number 27, he said, Mike Trout.
Right.
And then he said, I love you, Mike Trout. Of course, Yamamoto, like you said, coming back. Shohei, we know, he's there. And on the hill.
I like your Shohei, he's there.
On the hill for the Cubs, Mike Imanaga II.
I know.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. Just 4 Japanese superstars all in the ravine. And it started out looking good for the Dodgers. They had a 3-1 lead, and then they promptly blew that lead by committing 3 errors in the 8th inning, and it was a 5-run 8th inning for the Cubs, but 3 errors.
Yeah, that didn't help. Evan Phillips got shellacked because of that.
Yeah, and he's not. Something's up with him. He pitches, he'll go in and he'll have 1 inning that's pretty clean. And then he has innings like this where, he gives up 2 hits, 4 runs.
Like you said, though, 3 errors. I mean, they had 4 errors on the game.
Right.
Which doesn't help either. The fact that they stayed close is good, but 4 errors. Tommy Edman, Kike, Freddie,
I know. Yep. Yeah, just crazy. I think Tommy Edman threw a ball into the camera well. And the thing is there was some confusion.
Get that camera off of me.
That's right. I think there was some confusion too, because there was nobody covering back there. Not that it would have made a difference, but maybe it wouldn't have gone into the camera well. It just was not a good look for the Dodgers. They had 8 hits and they were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position.
And it makes you wonder, what can we expect? Now, from a pitching standpoint, Yamamoto looked good.
Yes, he did.
For what they let. They didn't. He only went 4 innings, so he wasn't able to pick up a decision on this. But based on what he did, he only gave up 1 run on 3 hits, but he only threw 59 pitches. So 59, they're being careful.
Yeah, and which is understandable, and 8 strikeouts.
Right.
And that's big. So he looked good. And so that is the bright spot of this game, that Yamamoto was back on the mound, looked good, but was tarnished by the defensive play of the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's sad. Normally it's the pitching just comes undone.
Yeah.
And then you just hope that the hitting, the hitting wasn't bad. Tommy Edman.
Yeah, I was just going to say 2 home runs. Max Muncy had a home run.
I was going to say, and then Maxey, but once again, it was, in this time, Seiya Suzuki, 3 for 5 in that game. Nico Horner. So they were doing it with some other guys, getting some hits. They didn't need Cody or Michael Busch to have crazy games like they did the night before. No, it was Nico Horner and Seiya Suzuki who carried the loan for the Cubbies.
Yep, and the Cubs win that game 6-3, and in the third game,
sweep.
Would it be a sweep? It would not be a sweep. Obviously, the Cubs win the series, but in this last game, Dodgers win 10-8, 4 home runs in the first inning.
And the second night in a row, Tommy Edman hit 2.
I know. He's like a madman.
And all you can say if you're in St. Louis is, what did we get for him?
Exactly. And he hit one from Tommy Edman. He's a switch hitter. He hit 1 from the right and 1 from the left.
That's awesome.
And Shohei had his 47th home run, his 48th stolen base. But this is the thing about the Dodgers. They win this game, but they had a 7-3 lead, but they had to rally to win 10-8. The Dodger pitchers walked 10 batters. Yikes. Bobby Miller started this game. He walked 4 of those 10.
I'm surprised they didn't lose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he pitched 4 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 6 runs. As I said, 4 walks, and then 2 home runs. So, yeah, I guess it's a miracle that they won the game.
Luckily, a guy who understands what being from the baddest part of town really means. And Michael Kopech gets the save in this game.
Yes.
But, last week I said I think Michael Kopech may have been the best pickup.
Yeah.
I'm saying he was good, but he's like 1A. Number 1 was Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman started off a little slow, and since then he's like, every time I hear something, it's like, out of the last 6 games, he's hit like 27 home runs already.
Right.
I mean, he's just doing. It's like listening to, over the years of all the things that Shohei's done. We were talking about, in the past years. For the first time since since the Civil War, Shohei has done this. That's the way it feels when they're talking about Tommy Edman right now. He is really leading the way. And what's good for the Dodgers with that is that means that the lower part of the order is producing more because he's hitting 5 or 6. Max has been hitting seventh in some of the games I've noticed.
Right.
Will Smith dropped down. They moved Tommy Edman up, so that gives them, and Miguel Rojas.
Oh, I know. I mean, he's
I
just
wish
on
he could
fire.
play every day.
I know. I would love to see him play every day, but we got to
Maxey with another home run too.
We got to keep his legs fresh. So, yeah. I mean, and even Will Smith had a double and a home run in this game. As you mentioned, Tommy Edman with 2 home runs again. Max Muncy had a home run. But if you look, it was Ohtani 2 for 4. He had a home run, but Betts was 0 for 4. And so it's good to see the bottom half of the lineup get those hits, because it can bring up, the more, if they can get those other guys. Obviously, you always want Ohtani up there, or Betts up there, or Freeman. But a lot of times, especially, you've got those guys in the bottom half of the lineup, and they are really producing.
Well, and you want those guys to get on. You want Miguel Rojas getting on, Max getting on. If Chris Taylor or Gavin Lux, whoever's in at second base, those guys getting on, then that way Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie can drive them home.
Exactly.
Or those guys get on, and these other guys are doing it. Teoscar, Tommy Edman obviously has been crazy. So that's been, now if they could just figure out how to get the things right with the pitching staff.
Yeah, and that's still up in the air. I mean, what's happening? Who's going to be? I think a lot of people, obviously, we talk about the postseason. What is the rotation going to look like? And I think every single start, obviously, there's some guys like Jack Flaherty. We already know he's going to be in the postseason. I think Walker Buehler is going to be in the postseason, right? Yeah. I mean, there's just not a lot of wiggle room for the Dodgers.
I think Yoshinobu, provided nothing bad happens,
right,
he's going to be in a good spot. He came back at the right time. And this is something that they have to do, because I know you've got a laundry list of things to talk about when it comes to injured players and the Dodgers. This is where a problem comes in, because the Dregs are getting everybody back.
They're getting everybody back. And when you look at pitching, as far as, I would say, I kind of bold, but crossed MLB, other than probably the Astros, who've always had a good pitching staff. I think the Padres, they have both. They have a good rotation and a good bullpen.
Unhittable almost.
Yes. I mean, they've got Yu Darvish is back. Joe Musgrove is back. They have Dylan Cease.
Michael King.
Yeah. I mean.
And then a bunch of guys that you don't know their names besides, and he's not even there. I was thinking was the Dregs are playing earlier this week. We're playing Houston, and I saw Josh Hader, and he was getting booed by the Dregs fans, and he was laughing about it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh yeah, Josh Hader, but they don't even need Josh Hader.
No, they don't.
And
it's kind of like their bullpen is similar, I guess, with the guys that you just don't know the names, similar to like the Diamondbacks last year.
Right.
When you're like, how do you say that name?
Right.
So
the only one you could say was Seawald. That was the only one you knew. And I don't even think, I think they're DFAing Seawald, or he's hurt or something. I don't know. But
isn't he the one that got in the gambling? Was that him?
Paul Seawald? I don't think so.
No,
Maybe.
not him. There was that guy.
Paul
Anyway,
Sewald.
I don't know. We're off the Dodgers.
Paul Sewald was one of their better pitchers last year. I don't think that was him, but maybe.
No, there's another. I'll figure it out. Anyway,
but the Dodgers have to figure that out, because they still have to deal with the Padres.
Yeah, they
got
to go to Atlanta. Yeah, and they got to go to Atlanta to do that.
And one thing that I heard and I think it was yesterday, that the Dodgers are in a spot here within the next couple of days, I think by today or tomorrow, that they need both Atlanta and New York to lose, and they need to win, and they'll clinch a playoff spot. Not the West at this point, but a spot.
A spot. Yes.
So they go there. They could have made it easy on themselves and just swept the Braves.
Yeah, but that's not their style.
Why do that?
And I will say these first two games, I think people were jumping ship. They jumped off without a life jacket and were floating in the Atlantic because
they were looking for a door to climb up on.
Yeah.
And Rose said, "I don't think so, buddy. You're out of luck. You swim down there and see if you can find that diamond, but you're not getting on my door." And the other thing is that when you go up against the guy named Schwellenbach,
yeah,
your expectations are probably too high that you're just going to wipe the floor with this guy.
And they did not. And Landon Knack started this game. He only went 2 innings, gave up 2 home runs, 5 runs in the 2 innings. That's always a problem. I think Landon Knack is another one that we're looking, will be in the postseason somewhere, either rotation or possible bullpen, but we'll see. And I think for these guys, especially like Landon Knack, depending on in the next, who we see coming up, it's almost like every start is an audition.
Right. And you need figure, just like what you said when you named pitchers for the Padres, the Dodgers need 3 solid pitchers.
Yes.
And at one point we thought that was going to be doable because Gavin Stone was the guy, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshi, and then Jack Flaherty in there. You had 4 guys. Now you're not. There's 2, and you might have to. And you got to hope maybe Clayton Kershaw might come back. He is throwing.
Yes.
Gavin Stone is not.
Nope.
So you're hoping Landon Knack can, he may have to be the guy. Or Walker Buehler, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those.
I keep forgetting about Walker.
I think for Walker Buehler, when I've watched him pitch, and I don't think that his pants are tight enough. He doesn't wear them tight enough anymore.
Maybe
and and I think he needs to wear them a little bit tighter because he pitched better when he had the tighter pants.
So
anyway,
not a good game. This first one out, not a good game for the top of the order. Mookie, Shohei, Freddie. 0 for 11.
Yes.
Between them, only Miggy with a home run, and that really was it.
That was
Tommy Edman drove in a run as well.
Yeah. So it was those 2 guys, and that was it. The next game, not good at all. I mean, this was just, and Flaherty's on the mound. And so this was he's been pretty consistent with all of his starts. And this, I think, was the first start where it was not good. He pitched 3 innings, 5 hits, 9 runs.
The wheels on the bus all came right off.
They did. 4 walks,
right off.
4 strikeouts.
And then he didn't get any help from Evan Phillips.
No, who pitched a third of an inning, 3 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts. And they were going up against Chris Sale, who I think is going to be Cy Young Award winner for the National League. I don't think that's any secret. He allowed 1 run. He struck out 6 over the 6 innings.
Actually, it was Alex Vesia and Kike who kept the Braves hitless.
It wasn't and didn't Miggy
Miggy pitched too, doing a Landon Knack impersonation.
Yes.
But he gave up a hit.
He did give up a hit.
But he didn't give up any runs. So Vesia, Miguel Rojas, and Enrique Hernandez kept them.
So
from
what
scoring.
is Kike's ERA now after that game? It was like
I think it's like 4.
It's gone down because he's pitched. This is like his 3rd time pitching this season. So, yeah, this was not a game that you write home about at all. So you move on, and this was your favorite type of series. It's a wraparound series.
Yay! And that's good for them because that meant that after 2 games, it wasn't like, all right, we lost another series.
Yeah, and
we just lost to the Cubs. Now we're losing to the Braves.
Yeah.
Although this one is, I guess, technically the rubber match.
Yeah.
Because it could go either way. If the Braves win it, they win the series, regardless of what happens. But it is a 4-gamer and a wraparound. So this is the Sunday game
on ESPN.
Oh, that's right. It was the late game. I forgot about that.
That's right. I would say the spotlight game, the showcase game.
The showcase game.
And this one was a good one. Mookie Betts had a tie-breaking RBI single with 2 outs in a 7-run 9th inning. Dodgers go on to win this game 9-2. Teoscar, Hernandez, Tommy Edman, and Max Muncy all had home runs in this game. Back
to back to back.
Always
and this
fun.
is the 3rd time this season the Dodgers have had back to back to back.
Yes. And one of your old friend, Raisel Iglesias, had not allowed an earned run in 35 1/3 innings, and the wheels on the bus came off for Raisel in that game.
Yeah, they did. He, and it's bound to happen. He picks up the L in that, gives up 5 runs.
And Walker Buehler is on the mound. Pitches 6 innings. That's huge. 3 hits, gives up 2 runs, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, but much better outing from Walker than we have seen previously.
And it didn't look like that was going to happen.
No.
Early on, but he regained his composure and was able to get himself out of a jam and to settle in. And hopefully that's something he'll take with him for the success. Otherwise, the Dodgers are going to be, if he can be successful, they've got 3 playoff pitchers.
Yes.
Potentially 5, depending on what happens with Kirsch and Knack.
Yeah. And in the final game, which was the wraparound on Monday, the Dodgers did something for the 2nd time since 1906. The first time they did this was versus Atlanta on June 4th, 2021, and that is they scored 9 runs on just 4 hits.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Freddie Freeman had a 3-run home run in this game. Yamamoto was on the mound again, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. I don't think as great, good as his first start out, but still solid. He looked comfortable on the mound, which was good.
Yeah, didn't give up any runs this time. He threw 72 pitches instead of just 59. So a little progress there.
Working it up.
See.
And Miguel Rojas.
Well, the one problem is that he had to throw that many over 4 innings.
Yeah, that is.
He wanted to be a little more conservative with that. And I was a little worried about in this game because they were going up against Max Fried, who is a better pitcher. And we saw what happened against Chris Sale. We saw what happened to Ben Schwellenbach.
Right. Yeah. Miguel Rojas, 1 for 1 in this game, but 2 walks, stolen base, and 3 runs scored. He was doing it all. And it was kind of a weird game because it was very quiet. You could hear one lone guy Let's go Dodgers. One guy
in Atlanta. In Cobb County.
Yes. And again, Tommy Edman 1 for 4 with a double. But yeah, I mean, the Dodgers were 9-0 with 4 hits.
Well, just when you think, geez, what in the world is happening? What are they going to do? That's when they came back and they showed over the last 2 games that they were, that they didn't have, that there is life there.
Yes.
That they can win, and that, the pitching staff can get them where they need to go.
Yeah, and I think too, after the game that they lost, the 10-1 game, that second game, Dave Roberts is not a meetings guy, unlike Ron Washington. And he did have a meeting with the team after this loss. And, whatever he told him, I believe in you. You're a better team than this. Whatever it was.
You are all cleared for takeoff. The runway is infinite.
That's right. Which was our episode last week. And if you missed it, go ahead and listen to it. We would love
Thanks
that.
for picking up what I'm putting down.
Anyway, so Dodgers split the series with the Braves, which I think was good. It was good for the Dodgers to get these 2 wins, and especially this last one, 9-0, and then to have that break. I mean, that crazy 7-run 9th inning. I just think it shows that not only players, like what they can do, what they're capable of. So Dodgers head to Miami for 3. And then they will be home versus Colorado this weekend. And then the Padres. And I had to say, it's a little scary for me.
So they need to take down Miami to pad this lead, get themselves into the playoffs if they can, so that at least they have. That helps take a little pressure off.
Yeah.
If there can at least be the wild card without worry, that helps. But hopefully this Brave series, like you said, gives them some confidence. And at least they're not playing at Petco.
Yeah. I mean, I think being at home, hopefully that will help. And it's not as though they haven't they know these guys pretty well, and they're going to, I think the lineup right now, I think Joe Musgrove's going to be pitching. Dylan Cease is supposed to be pitching. And I think Michael King. Yeah. So I'm not sure of
I know
when,
King
but
was pitching against the Astros. So I don't know
that's how
what their rotation is, but
yeah. But the Dodgers have faced Joe Musgrove, so they kind of they know these guys, but that doesn't always matter.
And these guys they make mistakes too.
Yes.
If you're not chasing after things, if you know what, take a page out of Luis Ariza's book. As we're talking about Padres, and just don't strike out.
Yeah, ever.
He just recently struck out for the first time since like sometime in early August.
Yeah, August 10th.
Right. So
141 plate appearances that he had
without a strikeout. Yeah, that's why his average is up when you cut down on the strikeouts. Stop chasing pitches out. Look and see where they're going and see what's being called, and then adjust. But they don't do that. And that's and it's not just them, it's across the league. But the guys who are hitting well, they make those adjustments. They don't chase bad pitches.
Right.
Unless you've learned how to hit like Vladdy Sr., where it can bounce in front of you and you can still hit a home run. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't try it. Don't think, I'm going to try this today. Not in those series. And Colorado, so they have bookends. It's Colorado at home, San Diego, and then they go to Denver for the last series of the season, which I think Oral Hershiser's a little concerned that they're going to be in Colorado for the last 3 games of the season, just because it's a weird park to play in, and then you have the altitude at the Mile High city. So having a bye in that case could be good, but
I think there it would be. I mean, I think he's got the right idea.
Yeah.
Because then you're also going to be the home team coming up. Because otherwise you're going to leave Colorado if you end up as a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not one of the 2 for the bye, and you're going to have to go. If they're the number 3 seed, even if they have to play the wild card, they come home. They play them all at home.
Right.
But otherwise, they're going to have to go to either Milwaukee or Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Those guys aren't going to change. Those are the 2 teams that are going to be.
So Philadelphia right now is the number 1 seed based on their the record.
Right.
And so they would play the winner of Arizona at this point, Arizona, San Diego. And I think I let Philadelphia be a number 1 seed because that's just, I don't want to see them they're going to have to face one of them. Right. But I don't want it to be right off the bat.
Right.
Or should it be right off the bat, get it out of the way? But is it get it out of the way, they go home? Get it out of the way, they go on?
Well, either way, they're not going to have to meet them in the first round.
Right.
Because they'll either have a bye, and then they'll play whoever comes out of the wild card.
Right.
Or even if they'll play the wild card, and then maybe. So it's not going to be till the second or third series.
It just makes me nervous. But I don't know. I always try to be always really positive about the Dodgers, but it is nervous. Get nervous when you think about their
positivity.
Yeah. I think nervous positivity. I like that because it's just, you want the Dodgers to do well. I want them to move. I want them to go on. I want them to win the World Series, but there are so many issues. I think lineup wise that we got that right. Defense, other than that crazy game against the Cubs where they had 3 errors, and that was a one-off, hopefully kind of outing for them. But it's the rotation, and that's what everybody's talking about. Tyler Glasnow was supposed to throw a bullpen session in Atlanta, maybe even a sim. I don't know if it was a sim game or supposed to pitch against some hitters. Maybe that's what it was. Anyway, that was not, he did not do that. He left. Nobody knew. Apparently they said, we don't, he just left. And it's like, what happened? He's angry at the Dodgers. But apparently he had an excused absence, as Dave said. And probably
what that means exactly.
We don't know what that means. I don't know, was it something personal was going on, or was he going back to, see what was going on with his elbow? So the scans, everything that looked promising, obviously were not, because he has sprained elbow. So he's not going to pitch.
You said, I didn't hear sprained elbow at first. I thought you said because he has brain damage. Okay, that's why he just laughed. Oh, I can't play. I'm done.
No. Why are you on the IL? He has brain damage.
All right. How about a player of the week for you this week?
I think I picked this guy last week. I'm almost positive I did. I'm going to go back and check the tape. But I had to go. Nope, I didn't. I picked somebody else. Okay, maybe I picked him before. But it's probably been within the last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I went with Tommy Edman.
Yeah, you picked him like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I was going to say, I was like, did I pick him last week? 2 weeks ago, 9 for 27, 333 over the games that we covered here. 5 home runs, 8 RBIs, and plays, does a good job defensively, plays in the outfield, can play in the infield, is versatile. I went with Tommy Edman, who just has been great addition to the Dodgers.
And once again, we are
unanimous.
Last week it was Mookie.
Yeah.
This week it is Tommy Edman for all the reasons that you said. I mean, five home runs.
I know.
In that, and the 370 batting average, it's pretty incredible. What he's been bringing to the team. He's a great pickup.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I didn't realize this, but he's been somebody that the Dodgers front office has been looking at, for a while, and it just worked out that they could get him this time in the trade. So he looks happy. We're happy that he's a Dodger.
When last we checked in on the Angels, they were getting beat by the Rangers and just not having a good series. So they still had to spend some more time out on the road, went up to the Twin Cities to take on the Twinkies. And after a bad Sunday, they had a good Monday. And that would be it for the next few games. They beat the Twins 6-2, but lose the series 2-1. They had a couple home runs in that game. Brandon Drury, who's been coming back around. Nico Cavadas had a home run in that game as well, who's also been getting a little bit better. They talked about what a great eye he had in the minors, and part of the reason they were happy to have him. And he had a hard time, like a lot of guys do, with major league pitching. He said it's more crisp, it's sharper, and you got to really focus on what they're throwing in the big leagues compared to what you're facing most days in the minors.
Yeah, and I pretty sure it was Oral Hershiser again who said these guys, they come, that are when you get a call up and you're facing the major league pitchers, they're more apt to sometimes just swing at things. And but when you're in the minors, you're a AAA, you're trying to, you got to get those hits. You're trying because you want people to notice you. You want the front offices to notice you. And then when you get up to the, to the show, you have to be, as he said, you got to pay attention. It's crisper, it's sharper. I can't just swing.
Right. You got to pay more attention. You got to be more focused in on what's going on.
Yes.
Speaking about that, Reed Detmers had another quality start, 6 innings, gives up 2 runs on 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, and then the return of Jose Suarez.
And it was a good return. He 3 innings and no hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts. So that was good.
Yep.
Good to see.
Just to say, he has looked pretty decent, especially compared to what he was looking like before he got sent down. He was just atrocious. Angels just really can't get anything going after that. They lose 10-5 in the next one. Zach Neto with a home run takes him to 21. And
Griffin Canning, I mean, he gave up 3 home runs.
Yeah, Griffin Canning, once again, here it is, 10 runs.
Yeah.
On 9 hits. Struck out 4, walked 3. It just, it was another. Pablo Lopez, former Marlin, pitched pretty well for the Twins. I mean, they did score 5 runs, so it's not like they were completely terrible. Zach had 3 RBIs. with that, because it was a 3-run home run. But overall, they couldn't get it done. And this is the thing that I keep seeing with them every series is, and the only word that came up to me, and we'll see it even more coming up here, because we're going to talk the White Sox series as well, is ineptitude. People making mistakes, not paying attention to the game. 2 different guys, not in this game, but in one of the games, Zach Neto, and I don't remember who the other one was, both lost count of how many outs there were.
Right.
They had to have a meeting in the dugout, about talking about staying
paying
alert,
attention,
focused in there. And something else, Zach Neto's had a good year as far as his offensive numbers compared to past shortstops, other players on the team. But I told you, and a while back, my issue with him is that he can make some good plays. He'll go range to his right, make a diving stop, turn around, and then he pulls Shohei off the bag. And if Shohei doesn't play, he plays pretty decent first base. There's a lot of times he saves outs. But there's been a couple times where I've seen him make that play, and the great shortstops can get there and almost without looking, spin and throw.
Right.
Neto can't do that yet.
Yeah, he's not there.
But he thinks he can.
Right.
And that's the problem. I don't know how many times he pulled Shohei down the line to go get a ball to avoid the, potentially going, because, if the ball goes off the field into the dugout, then you get the next base because it went out of play.
Right.
And, luckily it doesn't happen that often, but it happens enough that
Does he have adelitis?
He might have. Him and Ben Joyce have that same,
They have a swagger about them.
Which you gotta have,
right? Because you're in the majors, right? But you gotta be able to back it up.
Mike Trout, when he goes out there, he doesn't have that same type of. He has a swagger.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
That arrogant,
right,
or overconfident swagger.
Yes, yeah.
It's just confidence in his ability. And he goes out there and he just does it. Like I've talked about Freddie Freeman and other guys in baseball. They're workmen. They punch in, they punch out, they go do their job. And, Anyway, the Angels play the Twins one more time for 9/11. Jack Kahanowitz, who's been pitching overall pretty well, as a rookie. He's had his moments. This one, he gives up 4 runs on 7 hits, goes 5 2/3, but that's not quite good enough. You need to pitch better than that, and he didn't. The bullpen, Brock Burke didn't help him, but Hunter Strickland and Jose Quijada kept the Twins from scoring more than 6 runs. The Angels were able to put 4 up on the board. Home runs from Taylor Ward, who has been on fire this whole last couple of months. Shohei with a home run and 3 hits, 3 for 4 in that game. Couple hits both from Nico Cavadas and Jordan Adams. Jordan Adams, another guy who I'm surprised he did well there. He got a home run in that game. He seems to be. He reminds me of a story we heard about a minor leaguer that we'll tell you about in Around Baseball. And he has that same, I don't know, he seems kind of out of it sometimes.
Yeah.
He's got adelitis, but not with the confidence level.
Right.
And you would think he would, but anyway. Angels then take on their favorite team to play, the Asterix.
Oh yeah, everyone's favorite.
And yeah, that didn't go well for them. The Angels get swept by the Asterix, and there's no surprise to that.
No, it was interesting. I looked and I was like, okay, first game 5-3, second game 5-3. So I'm like, what's the third game? 6-4. That's just
right.
It would have been cool if it was like 5-3, 6-4, 7-5. Anyway, that would have been awesome.
That wouldn't have been too bad. That would have been interesting to see that go.
But
Jordan Alvarez with a home run in that. Alex Bregman, who has been on fire the last half of the season. Actually, in August, we know he was like player of the month or week at one point in there. He was batting over 300. He was tearing it up. He took advantage of it, and they took advantage of the Italian kid.
Oh yeah.
Samuel Aldegari not only leaves this game after 2 innings, giving up 4 runs on 6 hits and 1 home run. He walked 5, struck out nobody. But apparently he has Rich Hill's disease.
A blister?
Yep.
Oh.
And he is done for the season. They shut him down. He's got that blister, and they're just like, ain't no reason to keep going on. Now, Mickey Moniak with a home run, but he has issues that shows up in this series as well. We'll talk about him in a little bit. And then the guy that I think when you're talking about the pitching, and you mentioned the Asterix earlier,
yes,
this guy was not supposed to be. It was an underwhelming trade, and yet he has paid off.
Yeah.
It's like Kikuchi.
Yes, Kikuchi.
They picked up from the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
And he has, he goes 7 innings, gives up 3 runs on 3 hits. One of those a home run, strikes out 6, but he is, he's a reason that the Asterix can't be taken lightly. The Asterix will not get a first round bye. It doesn't look like. They're number 3, and with their numbers, compared to the Yankees, Orioles, and Cleveland, I don't think they're going to surpass them unless Cleveland completely falls apart. But they're still going to be in the playoffs.
Oh, so. Yeah, I think that's a given.
Yeah,
he's been a good. I don't think anybody thought that he would be pitching the way, especially Blue Jays fans, the way he's been pitching in Houston.
Next game, like you said, 5-3. They're facing off Verlander versus Tyler Anderson. So 2 veterans going at it. Verlander only went for 5 innings, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits.
Well, and I think this was one of his first starts, right? Since coming up, like he had a neck injury, so.
Yeah, so he comes back.
Still,
it's a good team to pitch against because they're not very good. So if you're going to come back, it's better to go up against a team that you can start honing and have an opportunity to throw some pitches that you might not have ended up throwing versus a better team. Tyler Anderson didn't do. He gave up 4 runs on 7 hits. One of those a home run. The bullpen, though, with the exception of Zuniga, blanked them. Both Strickland and Zephyr-John held them. In fact, Zephyr-John got out of there with the 3 or retired the side with the 2 strikeouts. And then finally, they finish everything up with the Asterix with a 6-4 loss.
Yeah. Blanco is on the mound. 6 scoreless innings he threw.
And a guy that we talked about glowingly not too long ago had a big night versus the Angels, and that would be Jason Hayward, 3 for 3 with a home run. And he pretty much drove the offensive train as the Asterix walk away with the sweep. Caden Dana made it 3 1/3, gave up the 5 runs, walked 2, struck out 3, and a home run. And that would wrap his season. He was sent back down, and they shut him down for the year. He will not be back.
Well, and I think he was he sent down to Double-A? Or
yeah, well, that's where he came from. He came from the Trash Pandas.
Okay, so I think that's where they sent him back, and so yeah, his season's over.
Yeah, he's done because they're done.
They're done, right?
Yeah,
it's not like an injury or anything.
Down. It's that the Double-A season ended like this week. Triple-A plays one more week, and then the major leagues play an extra week after that. So that was the end of it for him, and. It started off really nice for both of those guys, Dana and Aldegari. And he and both of them ended up in the same place with bad outings, and then of course Aldegari ends up with the blister that shuts his season down.
Yeah.
I think if he'd have pitched better, maybe they would have held on to him for a little bit longer, but they just figured like Ron Washington says, this is just something they got to learn. And there's no reason for him to go out there and just get beat up and maybe it take a toll on him.
Right. Got a taste. Work out.
Well, and Caden Dana did say, not knowing he was going to be sent down, did say he was going to end up pitching against the Rangers and Houston again in the upcoming series.
Right.
And he said, I'm looking forward to showing him my best stuff because clearly they haven't seen it yet. So he understood he wasn't throwing very well. He wasn't pitching well. But now he's not going to get that chance. And hopefully that doesn't take an effect on him as well. It's like, hey, we're doing this. Just now you need some rest. Now he threw a lot of innings in the minors, more than he'd ever pitched, and then he was going to end up. So they don't want to tax him too much.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to hurt his, get a shoulder or arm or elbow, whatever it may be, because at this point, the Angels are not, they're not going to be in the postseason. Give the guys some rest. Have them, do their throwing regimen, whatever he does, so that he can come to spring training and show them his best stuff.
Do it that him and Aldegari, and we'll see what happens with the rest of these guys. Sandoval may be back at some point next year because he's got the Tommy John thing. We'll see what Tyler Anderson can do next year. All right. So because of the way that things were scheduled out, the White Sox came to town to start a 3-game series on Monday.
Yep, on Monday.
And then they played what I think I called, and maybe I didn't use these terms, but on Wednesday, they played what I dubbed the Meaningless Matinee.
Yeah.
And I think I underestimated Meaningless.
Yeah, maybe so.
We'll talk about that because I'm going to tell you right now, my spotlight game for these 3 series is yesterday's game between the Knights of Charlotte and the Trash Bees or the Panda Bees. Is really, both teams are just full of their minor leaguers.
Right. And this will be interesting with who knows what the Angels are going to do next season. But we already have heard that the White Sox are going to cut payroll next season. So it's good. You got these minor leaguers playing now, so they're getting a taste. And
so what does that mean?
I don't
Garrett
know.
Crochet being sent. They still have Yohan Moncada, who was just he was just activated for this series.
I mean, I guess before we even get to the series with the Angels, other teams wanted Luis Robert Jr., Crochet. They wanted these guys, but they're like, nope, we're not going to trade them. They
wanted too much.
They wanted too much, exactly. But did they know that they were going to, cut salaries or cut payroll, whatever operations next year? Or has that just been a decision that they just made?
No, I think they've known it all along.
Since the beginning of the season.
So here we've got two teams that are struggling, and both of them come into this game needing only 6 losses to break their all-time loss records. Right. Obviously, for Chicago, they've already broke their the Chicago White Sox all-time loss record. Now they're shooting for the Major League Baseball record of 120. They need 121. I would say, since they're going to leave Anaheim and go to San Diego, that unless all of a sudden they just, confound the Padres, they're going to get 3 of those losses down there. And then they get to play the Angels again. So we'll see.
Woo!
Reed Detmer's on the hill for the first game. And talk about time to send somebody down. I mean, a couple of decent outings, and then against the White Sox, he gives up 7 runs on 7 hits, 3 home runs. He did strike out 6 over 5 1/3, but after that, Zuniga gives up a run on 1 1/3 or 2/3, and then Zephyrzan and Quijada, who have done pretty well, blank them and stop that. But the White Sox score 8 runs. Andrew Benintendi, 2.
Yeah, 2 of those home runs. And
Andrew Vaughn,
he's one of those guys, Benintendi, that you heard about, and then injuries, and now he's with the White Sox. So it's kind of one of those things, you just don't know how your career is going to pan out.
If the Angels, the team that they have, and Trout was still healthy, Benintendi is to the White Sox what Trout would be to the Angels.
Good analogy.
So they take advantage of it. They don't mess around. They beat them up pretty well, 8-4. Couple of home runs for the Angels. Eric Wagaman, who is a homegrown kid, grew up an Angels fan, hits his first major league home run at the stadium he used to go watch games at.
Awesome.
Kid. And then Charles, and I've been saying LeBlanc, but I heard it's LeBlanc.
Oh.
The C is silent, I guess. LeBlanc.
LeBlanc. Interesting.
He gets a home run as well, but the big names, Taylor Ward, Zach Neto, Nolan Schanuel. Schanuel had a hit, but for the most part, the hits all came from the bottom part of the order, including Gustavo Campero, another guy. And Wagaman, like 2,000 minor league at bats.
Wow.
Finally gets up. A lot of these guys that are coming up have been minor leaguers for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we talked about Lou Robert Jr. He's he played in that game as well. Didn't do much, but he's still there doing. He's there. That's it. You don't hear his name a lot because he's not really. I think he's just. I'm not interested. So, as you would expect with teams like this, it's not necessarily going to be, the White Sox dominated them. They're going to do it again. No, they didn't.
They did not.
No, they couldn't even put a run on the board. They did muster 6 hits, but the Angels, they just chipped away at it. They scored 1 run per inning from the 3rd through the 7th and walk away with a 5-0 win. Griffin Canning on the hill. And so exactly opposite of what we've seen. Reed Detmers had been pitching really well. Griffin Canning had not. This time, Reed Detmers pitched really bad. Griffin Canning shuts out the White Sox over 6 innings, just allows 3 hits, strikes out 6. Only 3 more hits given up by the bullpen. And like I said, no runs. So we come to the last game of the series, and it is a matinee. And for the White Sox, this is a bullpen game. For the Angels, it is not.
It is not. That's right.
Now, it's going to look like it if you're looking at the box score, but Jack Kahanowitz goes 7 innings, gives up 1 run on 5 hits, and struck out 5. That 1 run that he gave up was a home run to Andrew Vaughn. And it was all the pitches. He's a sinker baller, and one just didn't sink. And Andrew Vaughn deposited it into the outfield. And up until the 8th inning, the score was 1-0. And part of it was Kahanowitz pitching really well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he pitched like 79 pitches.
Yeah.
To get through the 7. I mean, that was only for the second time in his career that he's done that. Now, obviously, he's a young pitcher, so.
Right. I mean, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
So, but he did really well. And a lot of it was the Angels couldn't do anything offensively, even against the bullpen. The committee that they had to face from the White Sox. Gus Farland and I don't remember Baroa's first name. They both threw 2 innings each, but everybody else was about an inning. Schuster threw 3 innings. He's the one that was their opener. And then after that, it was but they go to Zinnings.
I know, Zinnings.
Because in the 8th inning is when Taylor Ward drives in a run. And this is the weird thing about this game. They had not even played but maybe 2 hours in the 8th inning.
Wow.
And this game ends up going like 3.5 hours. And they were almost done until that run in the like I said, that 1 run in the 5th. I mean in the 8th. And then they kind of go back and forth. So they're tied up. Nobody scores anything in the 9th. They both played really good small ball to set up. They both bunted over the ghost runner. And then were able to get them in both the 10th and the 11th. Nobody could do anything in the 12th. And then finally, in the 13th, the Angels were able to stop. In the top of the 13th, the Angels were able to stop the White Sox from scoring any runs. And then they were able to get Jordan Adams singles in Eric Wagaman, who was the ghost runner in the bottom of the 13th.
Yes.
And they win it all.
They win it all.
The
4-3.
Angels. But how bad was it? The Angels left 15 runners on base. And the bulk of them, like 10, I think, were left on base in the last 3 innings of the game.
Ugh.
They had the bases loaded a couple of times and couldn't get anybody in.
Yeah, and the White Sox in this game left 11 on base. They were 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. And then you mentioned the 15 for the Angels, and the Angels were, what were they? They were 4 for 14. So better with runners in scoring position. But
yeah, but that was only towards the end.
The end, right. That wasn't at the beginning. It was only towards the end, so it could have been worse. Yeah, this was an exciting game anytime innings. And a lot of times, especially this, you didn't really hear about, it's like, it's 10 innings. This is 13 innings. So.
And this is not the first time. This is like the second or the third 13-inning game the Angels have played this season.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So I think I just misjudged this meaningless matinee. For the rest of the league, it really didn't matter because these teams are both fully eliminated from any playoffs.
Yeah.
And but for both of these guys, they're both fighting off getting that record. For the Angels, like I said, they had to lose 6 to beat their worst record ever. The most losses they've ever had in a season. There was 2 seasons. The one I remember right off the top of my head is 1980, but they lost 90 games. And then, or not 90, 95 games. Sorry,
right.
95 games. So if they lose 96, which they're on a path that they could do that, and especially with who they have left,
right,
then they could get there. The White Sox are 4 away from breaking the record. They're going to lose. I mean, potentially they'll get swept in San Diego if you just take San Diego versus what the White Sox. Now, the White Sox beat the Yankees, beat them in a series.
Well,
so
and I
it's
think
possible.
It is possible. And I think for the White Sox, they're just playing. You're just playing ball. So just go out there, have fun. Obviously, you want to win the game. I think they want to finish their season on a high note because it has been so bad for them. So, of course, I'm going to be a White Sox fan while they're playing the Padres this weekend. But,
well, absolutely. I hate to say this, but I was rooting on the Asterix.
Right.
When they were down at Petco.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I just wonder, what is that like to be in that clubhouse, and what's the atmosphere like? Do they try to keep it light? Do they try to?
Well, and honestly, going to San Diego, they have a day off today. San Diego's the last series that could potentially mean anything to anybody that they play, because then they play the Angels again at home, and then they go to Detroit to finish the season. And Detroit, is out of it. So they really don't have anybody that they're not really playing for anything, but like you said, the just to finish the season strong.
Yeah, I think that would be your goal. I mean, they've had so many crazy things, where Miguel Vargas running into Andrew Benintendi, Sosa, what's his name? Lennon Sosa,
right.
Not knowing a between innings throw from the catcher, wasn't paying attention, got hit right in the face with it. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you just have to go with it and have a sense of humor. Maybe not in the moment, but later.
Right. And that's the thing. They're just these two guys, but the fight to not have that record, I guess, is
that's something to to work for.
But there's two teams here that are both kind of flailing, and like you said, the White Sox have said they're not going to spend any extra money, so we don't know what that means exactly.
We don't, and we know that the Angels usually don't spend extra money,
and they're probably not. I would think that Artie's learned his lesson to the point that until I get rid of Rendon, I don't really want to say, and we need to be smarter about it. The problem is he doesn't have a GM that can do that. Their problem with the Angels overall is that, yes, some great players have been drafted, but look at it. Without these guys, a lot of these guys that are all being called up are long-time, like career minor leaguers.
Right. Yeah.
So you have a few guys that you luckily got that stepped up, but I don't see Zach Neto being an all-star. I thought he could be, but I don't see it. I don't see Nolan Shanuel necessarily ever being, unless it's a fluke thing. Logan O'Hoppe, maybe. Maybe Taylor Ward at some point. But I don't see Mickey Moniak. And that's another thing that was interesting in this game. Mickey Moniak, and I didn't mention this the other day, he got hit in the hand in the Houston series. And he's been day to day. They used him as a pinch runner because of his hand issue. They use him as a pinch runner. Of course, he doesn't score, so he's got to go into the game. Then he ends up having to come up to bat. He can't swing the bat. So he goes up there and he just stands there. And remember, the Dodgers did this to Miguel Vargas, who's in this game. But he did that in spring training because he was injured. They just wanted him to go up there and get the bats to see the pitches. He wasn't swinging anything.
That's right.
De Los Santos, the pitcher for White Sox, throws him 4 straight balls. It doesn't look like Mickey was going to swing at anything anyway. I don't think he can.
No,
and that was it.
So, and that was it. That's
all right.
I mean, the Angels, they will be headed to Houston and then for 4, and then they will be heading to the south side of Chicago to meet back up with the White Sox, and then
to help redefine what the baddest part of town really is.
Exactly.
You suck.
And then to close out the season, they will have Texas at home. So,
do you have a player of the week?
Yeah, I went through and I was like, I could go with this guy. I could always go with Taylor Ward. But right. I went with Nico Cavadas. I mean, it wasn't like he was stellar, but he did have a home run. He had a double, had 2 RBIs. He helped out in those games, but not every game, because there were some games I was like, oh, because you know how like you go through, I don't know how you do your player of the week, but I go through and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, 2 for 3. Ooh, 1 for 3. Ooh, and you're going, and then you get to the next game and it's like 0 for 4. Next game, 0 for 3. And you're like, what? And that's kind of what happened with him. But I just settled on him. So why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I thought about him too. And then I decided that at one point I was thinking, maybe just all these rookies are getting called up and thrown into the deep end. And then I decided I'm going to go with the hometown boy, Eric Wagaman.
Yeah,
and
that's a good
he
one.
had 2 home runs over the games that he played with, from Minnesota on down. 3 doubles, 292 batting average. That's not bad.
No.
And no walks. He did strike out 5 times, but he's had a pretty good week, and especially for a guy who's his whole career pretty much up until now has been spent, and he was a trash panda when he got called up, so he wasn't even with the bees.
Right.
Which
we've seen with the Angels a lot of times. A lot of these guys have bypassed Salt Lake City.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they don't go back, that they don't make a trip to Salt Lake City later, but a lot of times they're coming straight from double
one
A.
season in AAA, 3 in AA, couple in A, high A, regular A, rookie league. The bulk of his games, with the if you add in the 24 plate appearances plus today's, he's got a little over 2,060 total plate appearances, and of that, 2,035 of them and 514 games are in the minors. He's been a minor leaguer since 2017. So he's finally got that chance. And there's a lot of guys on the Angels team that are guys that are being called up that aren't rookies. They are seasoned minor leaguers.
Yeah. I like that. Seasoned. With the Angels, Mike Trout came out and said that
he came
out and talked to the media. He's been at the ballpark.
How un-Anthony Rendon of him.
I know, right? He was there to accept for Roberto Clemente. He is the Angels nominee, and so he was there for that. But he said he's open to discussing a change in position from center field to one of the corner spots, DHing some more. And I think says he's feeling better, feeling healthy, and hopes to stay healthy. And I think that is always the key for Mike Trout. Mike Trout we know the type of ball player he is, but we need to see it for a full season where he can help get his team past, I think he
needs to feel that too.
He definitely.
I think that it had like Anthony Rendon had a full season of success. Mm-hmm. I think I sent you a thing. Eric Wagaman, they said here in 7 games, he's almost matched Anthony Rendon's, and he's got more home runs.
Right.
Anthony Rendon hit no home runs this season.
None.
And he's done.
And I'm
think sure.
Yeah, I think, and I think it'd be interesting to see what his decision is at the end of the season. Is he just gonna, I think, just rip the Band-Aid off and say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to retire.
$35 million though is hard. But to me, I'm like, all right, you made 35 for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
Or 4. I think because they got prorated salaries in 2020.
Right.
I think you have enough to raise your family, for all the kids to go to school. If you invested it right, you probably can find something to do.
And he's 10-year, right? Has he played 10 years? Yeah. So he's has that. And I think it's time to,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
the only thing that I would think.
Goodbye. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. That's what they need to say.
You've just been itching to sing that song, haven't you?
I was waiting. Where can I pop it in?
Where can I? Is there a moment here that I'll be? Yeah, he came up in 2013.
Oh yeah.
So he has 12 years of service time. It looks like.
So there you go. You have our blessing, Anthony Rendon, to retire. Be with your family.
Which is what he says he wants to do. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We won't know about him till next year. Another guy that we know, I don't remember if we talked about this last week, Ben Joyce. taken out because of shoulder stuff. Everything's clean, but they told him they were just going to shut him down for the season, and he annoys me to no end. They showing him in the dugout, and he's laughing. He's got that smirk on his face.
Yes,
it's
that's what I was talking about.
I want somebody to hit like a foul ball over there that hits him in the head, knocks him out, and knocks that out of him.
Yeah, he does need that.
He needs like a Shallow Hal kind of experience where Anthony Robbins, focuses on him and teaches him how to be, because there's something off with that.
Well, I think
so
with
what,
him,
you can throw 106 if your shoulder's always hurt, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it's going to get worse, but that's not throwing 105 or whatever. That is not a pitcher. That doesn't like, oh, I'm a pitcher because I throw 100. That's no. There's finesse, and he doesn't have any finesse.
Time to hop in the bullpen cart and make our way around baseball. And as always, we start them off with the MLB Players of the Week.
All right, I'm going to start in the American League with a rookie starting pitcher from the Detroit Tigers, Kiter Montero. 14 innings pitched, no runs, 1 walk, 2 wins. So he is the Player of the Week. And for the National League, someone that we just talked about, plays for the Chicago Cubs. He did all of this. Well, against the Dodgers, no, he didn't, but it felt like it. Michael Busch is the National League Player of the Week. 478 batting average, 4 home runs, 2 doubles, and 11 RBIs.
Nice for those guys.
Yeah.
All right. We are like right at the end of the season, and some things I think have been figured out. We know, like, the Phillies are the best record out there, so they're going to be the number 1 seed going in. Dodgers are right behind them, and at number 2. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk next week about the series versus the Marlins and the Rockies. But the list of E's is growing. We already knew that the White Sox, the Rockies, the Marlins, those guys were all out of it pretty early on. Followed up by the Nationals. We know the Angels got there pretty quickly. The A's joined them.
Yeah.
When it comes to now, those guys, they're done. No playoff contention at all. The AL East. Boston, Tampa Bay, and Toronto all eliminated from winning the East, but they're still in the wild card.
They could still make it.
The Tigers, who I mentioned, it's a meaningless series for the White Sox. They still have 3 games as of now, but who knows what it'll be like when they're playing the last series. I'm pretty sure that between now and then, I didn't look to see who the Tigers are playing, but they're going to really have to go because, the Twins and the Royals have been playing much better, and they're 2.5, 3 games behind those teams. And then the Giants also in the wild card race, but out of the NL West. In the NL West, that's going to be one, just like the AL East, that might be coming down to it. The Orioles have been falling apart lately. Mm-hmm. They got beat by the Giants this last week here, like 10-0 or something.
Yeah, so, they just don't. I mean, they just don't look.
They have pitching issues.
They have pitching issues, and they just don't look happy. They don't, like they're having fun.
Which is that can do it, right there. So right now, it looks like the Mets are probably going to take one of the wild card spots over the Braves. Question is, Arizona's been fading. Can Arizona hold on and get in there and stay in there, or is it safe to assume that that they may get pushed out, and the Braves, and instead of two NL West teams in the wild card, have two AL or NL East teams in the wild card?
Yeah, and I think it's this season. We talked a lot about, pitching just across the board in Major League Baseball. Like, what is the cause? What is the issue? And you just don't have, there just isn't one team that is dominant. Like, maybe at the beginning of the season, you thought, oh, it's going to be the Yankees. They've got Soto and they've got Judge, but even Judge is kind of,
it took him a while. He
finally
broke out, had a grand slam the other day.
Yeah.
But it's been like 15 games or something without a home run.
Right. I mean, so I think at the beginning, you always, it's like, oh, it's going to be these, but there hasn't been one team that's just been knockout, and actually I kind of like it because
it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It makes it where you're not just playing, like using the Dodgers as an example, where you're just playing out the string of games because you already have won, you already won the division 20 games ago, or whatever it was, that they had such a lead. And now it's like every single game, doesn't matter who you're playing, what team you're playing, is meaningful. And I think that's what the Dodgers obviously need, but I think that's what every team needs. I think you need to have meaningful series so that you go into and you're fighting to get into the postseason. You're not just cruising. We see what happens when you cruise. It doesn't work out. The
only team right now that really doesn't have much to worry about is Milwaukee. They've already clinched the Central.
Well, and I mean, I think when you look at that, though, I mean, it's the Central, right?
Well, it's the Central, but the Cubs, had been playing well, but then they're back and forth. So I didn't look specifically at this. Things are a little tighter than I thought. Number one, Detroit's only one game out of a wild card spot. Ooh. So I'd have to look at their schedule to see what's going on. But I thought that the Padres were a little tighter, had a little bigger lead in the wild card. They're only up by 2.5. Arizona and the Mets, I knew, were tied for the second wild card. But so that would come down, who's second, who's third in the wild card would come down to the season series. The Braves are only 2 out. And even though the Braves have been having issues, as well as a lot of teams, injury issues and that, all it takes is a good couple of series here right at the end, and you could squeak right in there. Well, I think the Tigers could take advantage of the Orioles this weekend. They're playing against the Orioles. So if the Orioles kind of have faded off a little bit, they're not, I think they've lost 2-3 games in this, but they could, seeing where they are, maybe that would help them, obviously, in their wild card matchups. You figure because Detroit's won 3, everybody in front of them, Baltimore, Kansas City, both on a 3-game losing streak. Yeah. Minnesota lost 1. So it's like, what's gonna happen? Just because you mentioned the Tigers, so they have Baltimore, then they have Tampa Bay, and then they finish up against the White Sox.
So they might be one to watch to see. Do they sneak in there?
It very well could. And with only 3 more series to go, pretty much from a 3 to 4, it's not really. There's some of these that are up for grabs unless you're in the NL Central.
Right. We've seen that baseball attendance has gone up, viewership has gone up, and I like this. I like that there is not just one team that's just cruising. Every team has to fight for where they are, because there's somebody knocking on the door. I mean, even in the East, you've got Philly. I mean, Mets are 7.5 games back, but the Mets still are in the wild card spot. So
someone's knocking on the door. Somebody's ringing the bell.
They are.
But unlike in Paul McCartney's song, these teams don't want you to do them a favor and let them in.
No. But thinking about the Mets, they have this really cool seat. They installed a purple commemorative stadium seat, all for Grimace. It's in section 302, row 6, seat 12, and it's purple. And I don't know, is there? I saw the seat. I saw the picture. I saw the picture of Grimace with the seat. But anybody could buy that seat? It's not like special, like you have to
know.
Win a lottery to sit in it. I don't know. So
no telling.
It works. Bobby Witt Jr. talking about the Royals. He's the first player to reach 200 hits this season, and he's 30-30 for the second season.
They were part of the reason why the Royals are fighting for that spot. Him and Salvador Perez.
Also, he has not missed a game this season.
Oh, wow.
Along with Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna, Pete Alonso, Nick Castellanos, and Willie Adames, who I think next year is going to see lots of dollar signs.
I think so,
too. If he continues what he's been doing.
For sure.
And the Rockies, because they have nothing else to announce. And they're a team that, I don't know, do you forget about them other than when your team plays them? But they don't have anything to announce, but they did announce that they will retire their City Connect uniforms at the end of the season, and they will have a new uniform in 2025. So they're going to retire the green City Connect. That was more State Connect. It looked like their license plate.
Right.
A Colorado license.
Although
plate.
I did see one the other day that was red. The same thing, but in red.
So those are fleet cars or like business. They're not, that's like you see them on like rental cars and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't.
I
saw that here. I didn't.
Yeah, it's like
I'd seen it before, but
company cars, I think. That kind of thing. Because I don't know why they just like differentiate. Like you have to have red. You can't have green. I don't know.
We want you to stand out.
That's right. Ontario, California has pledged 100.
What is this, like Dateline?
Ontario,
California
has pledged $100 million to open a new ballpark for the current Rancho Cucamonga Quakes.
They want to steal the team from a city that borders them. They share a border.
Yes.
It's only like about a mile away. And I think that's what I read, isn't it? It's like where they want to build is only about a mile away.
Yeah. And now, according to reports, the Quakes have agreed to move to Ontario in 2026 if they get this new ballpark. But I personally, I still love it. As a kid, I love saying it. Rancho Cucamonga. I love it.
When I was a kid, it was just Cucamonga.
right. I never even said
it wasn't Rancho till later.
Just
and
Cucamonga.
Now, see, I see this. Ontario has the Toyota Arena. They have a minor league hockey team there.
Yeah.
Elton John played the arena there in Ontario. I mean, it's not like the size of like the Intuit Dome that they just built for the Clippers over near SoFi Stadium, or Staples or Crypto.com, they call it now.
Yeah.
It's not that big. It would be, but it's a decent sized arena, and they do concerts there all the time. So building a baseball stadium in that same general, they've got the Ontario Mills Mall, has an improv comedy club. They've got big theaters there, lots of shopping and stuff. So, I mean, there's a big entertainment district around there. It's not that far from the airport. So lots of hotels and stuff like that. So,
yeah, no, I think that's exactly what the city council's going for, hoping for. And we've seen those minor league teams like in Bakersfield, they're not there anymore. But you have the Inland Empire with the baseball, what do you got? The 66ers?
The 66ers are in San Bernardino. That used to be they had a couple of other names, but when they first started back in the 80s, they were the Mariners, a high A team.
Okay.
Got to see
Ken Griffey Jr.
Griffey Jr. play there.
Oh, which I just have to throw this in real quick. I was watching the Dodger game because you mentioned Ken Griffey Jr. And on the back, there's a group. I don't know what it's called, but it's like I didn't say it's a religious group. It'll say he knows us or whatever, and it said umps are our neighbors too. And I thought, I don't want an ump to be my neighbor if it's going to be like Ken Griffey Jr.'s neighbor.
All right. No, but Ken Griffey lives next door to the house that has the concessions.
Oh, that's
people
right.
Walking through.
That's right. So on one side, he can get concessions. On the other side, he can get called out.
He's getting called out in his own house.
Exactly.
For having popcorn or a big salad.
A big salad.
I think I'm going to have a big salad. Ski right to.
Anyway. All right. Sorry.
All right. Anyway. So yeah, no, the inland part, when people came down here, when the Spirit started, then there was a team in Riverside. Lake Elsinore had a team that was the Angels Farm Club at that point. Things moved around. Lake Elsinore is a single A club for the Padres now, I think. Inland Empire 66ers are the Angels team. Cucamonga is the Dodgers that used to be Bakersfield. And so now, from what I hear, some of that's all going to change as well too. And you had a clear Northern Division and Southern Division, but before the San Bernardino Spirit, everything was Northern Division. Yeah. And they had the High Desert Mavericks in Adelanto. They closed. The Lancaster Jethawks, that team went away. Bakersfield went away. So we'll see how that changes, and if with things moving around, will there be new people coming down? Will somebody come down and play in Rancho Cucamonga? And then you've got like a rivalry there between the two. Who knows? Speaking of minor leaguers, I don't remember where the guy was, what team he was with. Who's the
Minnesota Twins. Sorry, I don't know why it took me a minute to say Twins, but he was a minor league catcher for the Twins. His name is Derek Bender, and he was released for reasons that you usually do not see. But he was apparently informing the opposing hitters of the pitches being thrown during at-bats in the game that eliminated their Class A Fort Myers team from playoff contention. I guess according to other players, clubhouse talk, he had better things to do. He was ready to go home, didn't want to go any further.
He wanted the season to be over.
That's it. He had been the Twins' 6th-round draft selection this past July out of Coastal Carolina, which we have seen, in the team go to Omaha. And, he just was like, I
get that maybe you're just tired. You're at the end of your rope. You know that you just, but why not just fake an injury?
Yeah, I think that would be
just let them know
better.
that I am done playing because I need to take a ride on the wheel of
All right. Not a whole lot for the Wheel of IL, but Stephen Kwan is on the IL with back issues, so we'll see how that plays for the Guardians. Is it just he needs some rest for the rest of the regular season, be good for the postseason? We'll see. Chase McCormick of Houston has a fracture in his right hand. Austin Barnes fractured his left big toe. Then he was on the IL, and then he came back. And now he's back on the IL because he has fractured. He has a fracture in his left big toe, but in a different spot. So wow. I'm like, how many fractures can you get in your big toe? Like and how big is his toe? Like, is it a really big toe and how
does that compare to Clayton Kershaw's big toe that has bone spurs?
Yeah, I don't know. I mentioned Tyler Glasnow with the elbow sprain. Francisco Lindor has not been officially put on the IL, but is still listed as day-to-day with back issues. O'Neal Cruz of the Pirates is also day-to-day with ankle. Corey Seager had season-ending sports hernia surgery. So he is out. And then center fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays, Dalton Varsho, will have rotator cuff surgery, and he is done for the season. So surgery wing is busy, and still got the pitchers hanging out, but hopefully not. Hopefully none of them end up in the Tommy John wing. So did you know that Shohei Ohtani is a travel agent?
I did not know that.
You're going to add it to his resume of awesomeness. LA has become a must-visit destination for Japanese tourists. According to a major Japanese travel agency, they say that they are booking 200 clients for every home game that the Dodgers have. So that means that between 80 and 90% of the bookings that they have go through the Ravine.
Wow.
And I'd like to see, do they have a tour package that, if it worked out, you go to LA, but then, say the Dodgers are going to go to New York. So that's always a good, a destination, go to New York City. So then they go there. And how many people are there, because he draws crowds everywhere he goes, but especially in LA, a must-visit destination.
That's why you sign him for $700 million, because he's bringing people in and advertisers in, and he's on the verge of 50-50. The watch is on.
The watch is on, and it's really cool. It is sponsored. The 50-50 watch sponsored by his sponsor, New Balance. Why not? Makes sense to me. I wish I would have thought of that.
Right.
But we think lots of the stuff, and nobody ever gives us credit.
No, they don't.
Oh, well. We still love the game.
And that'll put a wrap on this week's Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast, episode 153 in the full series. If you're going to binge listen, you need to carve out a little time. But what's nice is you don't have to sit in front of a TV. You can go out on a walk. You can drive. You can, sit down, close your eyes, and just immerse yourself in the wonderful world of baseball.
You can listen at work. We are a safe listening podcast for work.
We're not, what is it, NSFW? We are not that. We are SFW.
Yes.
All right, find us on our social media, Twitter at Sibling Rivalry BB without the A.
And on Instagram and Facebook at Sibling Rivalry BB with the A.
And our website, siblingrivalrybb.com. You'll be able to hit the Fanatics link and find. We're going to be getting closer and closer to teams having playoff gear.
Yeah.
So you can go check that out. Buy yourself some a cool T-shirt that your team made the wild card or won a division or not. You don't have to have won anything. You can still support your team any way you want. But do that through the Fanatics link to get your favorite team's gear. Next week, more is how things are shaping up for the playoffs. We'll see what happened with the Dodgers. They're playing two teams that really could help them pad things. Will they? We'll see as they prepare to take on the dregs of San Diego. So tune in, watch some playoff baseball or some playoff implicated baseball, and then check in with us next week to see, find out everything else you may have missed in the world of baseball. And don't forget to swing away.